Hello, all viewers. Welcome to the 96th Khelo Chess India team battle. Just couple of minutes, guys. There is some technical issue that I'm trying to solve. Give me a minute, please. And just a minute, guys. Just a minute. I'm just trying to get few things sorted out here. And I
Hello,
think
all viewers.
yes. Welcome to the 96th Khelo Chess India team battle. Just couple of minutes, guys. Yeah, sorry, I'm back. There was some echo, and I think we should be good to go now. I have all the IDs with me. Around 10 12 people have requested today, and we are getting more requests. I am just making sure that I don't miss any IDs here. So please give me a minute, guys. I am just making sure that I have all the IDs with me. And let's try to now start. The first request was sent to us by Poonam Gupta, that is Core 1408. Let's just check, guys. So if Core is playing, okay. So Core, your ID is not there. I'm just trying to Gaur GOA. Okay, sorry, it's GAUR. Okay, Hemang and Gaur, do both are playing. So Hemang, you are also requested, and Gaur, you are also requested. So we have both the uh, players right now, and this is the current game which is going on. So Gaur is playing from Pawns Hurricane, and Hemang is playing from my team Khelo Chess India. D4 E5 was played. This is called as the England Gambit, guys. This is one of the very nice and very good aggressive opening against D4. If you like to take risks in your game, and if you like to have some adventures, create some kind of pressure in the game, and just try to create some interest in the game, you can go for this beautiful opening, that is England Gambit. You have to play E5 against D4, and there are a lot of ways in which you can continue after this. So you can learn this opening. Let's see what happened in the game now. So d4 e5, c4, and c4 is sometimes when white doesn't want to go for adventure, he just plays pawn to c4. There are many lines, good theory after d takes e5, and after d takes e5 you can play d6 also. You can play knight c6 also. There are different lines after d takes e5, so you can learn them. And meanwhile, I can see hello from Tushar Poddar. Hello, Tushar. Hope you are doing good. I am apologies to all the viewers out there. I could not do live streaming for last couple of days. I am right now very much under tremendous work pressure, but I'm just trying to get myself online right now in front of you. So let's enjoy this game, guys. E takes d4, and then we have queen takes d4, knight c6, queen goes back to d1, bishop c5, knight f3, and knight f6, bishop to g4, bishop to g5. And here actually black has castle, but there is one beautiful move. There are two beautiful moves here, guys. You don't miss this. Okay, so Bitopan Sharma says, how can I play the tournament? So Bitopan Sharma, I'm just sharing the link. Probably the link might get deleted from the chat, but you can still join this tournament. And if someone else can help out Bitopan Sharma, just let me know. And hold on, guys, I'm just trying to share the link. Hold on, guys, please. And yeah, I am here. So this is a link with Open Sharma. If you can see the link, you can join. And let's go back to the live. So here there are two beautiful moves, guys. So first move is knight to e4. This is one of the beautiful moves wherein you allow white to capture your queen. Because if knight is comes to e4 and bishop captures d8, then you have this bishop cross f2 check and mate. It's a beautiful check and mate, guys. This is the pattern, or this is a tactic that you should always remember in your games. Don't miss on this tactics. Okay, and after that, I think bishop either has to go to this. Okay, the game is over. Let's go back and check. Let's go to the live position that we were in. Yeah, so this was the position wherein black castled. So instead of castling, you can play knight e4 here, and then bishop to e3 becomes forced. You can capture this bishop, or if you want to get an extra pawn right away in the opening, you can just capture bishop takes f2, king takes f2, and knight to e4 check to the king. King goes back to e1, or king goes back to g1, and then you can capture this bishop on g5. Knight takes g5, queen takes g5, and you have this extra f2 pawn, and the king cannot castle now. So you get a better position here from black if you are able to do this knight to e4. So Swapnil says your explanation is excellent, sir. Thank you, Swapnil, very much. I am just trying to express myself, whatever things that come to my mind. I'm just trying to share with you guys, and I hope If it helps you, I'm the most happiest person right now if it helps you. So thanks Swapnil for the positive feedback. This is how you can play with this, guys. This is a beautiful position, guys. You can take a snapshot of this, take a photo of this position. You can give it as a puzzle to your students that what is the best move from black here, or even you can show it to your friends, show it to your share in your groups, or you can also show it to your chess mates, chess friends. Take a photo of this position, guys, and the solution is to play knight e4 or bishop takes f2. Both are best moves here. Let's go ahead, check. So this is what Hemang you missed from black side, okay, that you shouldn't miss. And then we have castles, then we have knight to c3. Hemang says okay, yes, thank you, yes, Hemang. So knight e4, don't miss this move. Knight to c3, we have pawn to d6, pawn to h3, pawn to h6, bishop h4, bishop e6, and pawn to e4. Now bishop e6 actually some puts some pressure on this c4 pawn, so it's actually a good way to open this pawn so that this bishop can support, or at least play pawn to e3, so that you don't have this tactics on f2 as well as your bishop supports the c4 pawn. So either you can play, there are other moves as well, which like queen b3 or queen d3, but they generally run into some problems. So don't play that moves. Just try to play, open up your bishop. It's a developing move, and of course you're getting some control in the center as well. So then we have knight to a4, a5, and this actually moves you should avoid, guys. Knight a5 like moves, because these knights are going to the edge of the board, and they don't help you much when you play moves like knight a5. Of course, in some openings, knight a5 is recommended. Like we have Grunfeld defense, wherein knight a5 is frequently played. In Sicilian defense, knight a5, knight c4 are played. But in this opening, knight a5 should be avoided. Instead, you can go for the knight to e5 move. Okay, knight is more effective if you put it in the center. From the center, it can control more squares. Like from e5, it could have controlled the c4, d3, f3, this g4, and it can go back to g6 also to attack this bishop. So from e5, of course, he has the option of capturing the e5, d takes e5, queen takes queen. That should be not a bad position. Of course, yeah, you might get a double pawn here. So knight e5 right away is not working, but it seems to be a better idea to put knight e5 instead of knight to a5. In this position, knight e5 might not work because of knight takes e5, d takes e5, queen takes queen, rook takes queen, and bishop takes f6, g takes f6. It will create a double pawn on black's castle king. That is not good, also creating the h6 weakness here. So it might not be in favor of black right now, but otherwise you could have gone for some other moves like queen d7, queen e7 probably, and rook to d8. Uh, the problem is this, the pin of this bishop, it's not able to, you're not able to get rid of this pin. So whenever you want to put your dark square bishop out of your king side, that is right now it is on c5, it cannot come back to the e7 to save the pin. Okay, so in that case you have to play h6 first, so that you don't allow this bishop g5 and pin your knight. Because once this bishop pins your knight, it becomes difficult for you to get rid of this pin unless you play this h6 and g5 and then try to drive this bishop away. But the problem is that your king gets exposed in that position. So knight takes g5, h takes g5, bishop takes g5 is also playable there. But avoid this kind of position from black side. Don't allow your opponent to get your knight pin in this way. Okay, let's check what happened next. Tushar Poddar says, sir, which piece is more important, bishop or knight? Both pieces are important. In the close positions, this is a very good question, guys, to all of you. Tushar is asking which piece is important, bishop or knight. In the close positions, knight is more effective. In the open positions, bishops are more effective. So depending upon which opening you play, or what middle game you are going to achieve, or even what end game you are going to achieve, you have to decide which players you have to keep on the board and which you have to exchange. So both pieces are important to share. Close positions, go for knight. Open positions, go for bishop. Okay, then we have next, tricky ball says, analyze my game. Okay, tricky ball, I'm just noting down your id. Okay, so we have around 15 requests today, guys. A huge list with me, so I have to be a bit quick here. So let's go to the next move. Knight a5. Don't play these moves. Bishop d3, knight c4, bishop c4, bishop takes c4. We have queen to a4 now. Bishop goes back to a6 and pawn to e5. So pawn to e5 is also actually, I think it's not much of useful now. Knight takes e5, rook to e8, bishop to g3, and bishop to d6, pawn to f4. Look at this king, guys. You should not put your king in such a dangerous position. So Gaur, if you're listening to this commentary or watching this video in the future, never ever put your king in this position. This is a very dangerous position for your king. Once the center is open, your king is going to have no shelter whatsoever, and that's probably the reason you lost the game. Let's check what happened in the game, guys. So knight to d7 was played, and queen to d4, knight takes e5, f takes e5, and pawn to c5, queen takes d6, queen takes d6, and this is where the queen was gone. So this is what happens when you keep your king in between. So this queen takes d6 was the blunder, guys. So queen could have been moved to some other square, probably e4, and then you could have gone for this long castle, at least getting some shelter for your king on a1. Okay, so another game coming to an end. Let's go back to the tournament now. So we have checked your game, Gaur and Hemank. I'm going to check the next ID now. The next ID is from Smooth Chess. Smooth Chess has requested us. Let's check Smooth Chess game if he's online. Yeah, Smooth Chess is online, and let's check his game. He is playing against Ronak Mystery. Okay, he has lost to Yogaraj. Okay, let's check Yogaraj and his game. Yogaraj is the leader or the captain of Karnataka Astana. He's also a very nice player, guys. So let's check. E4 was played here. E4, C5, Sicilian defense played by Yogaraj, and knight C3, pawn to G6, pawn to G3. And this is one of the lines wherein, if you want, you can play the Grand Prix attack. Knight C3, and followed by F4, knight F3, bishop C4, and then long short castles, and queen to e1, queen to h5, pawn to d3 is the setup which is played under the with the Grand Prix attack. So that you can learn that. That is a very nice opening Grand Prix attack. The only problem is that when pawn e6 and pawn d5 comes, then you have to handle this bishop beautifully depending upon what black is trying to do. So you have to learn those tactics in the opening, that don't put your bishop on c4 if the e6 and d5 threats are available, or a6 and b5 are available. You can put the bishop on b5 and get this knight exchange on c6. Okay, so that is something that you can learn, guys. Here, not exactly Grand Prix, but g3 was played. So let's see what happened in the game. G3 was played, knight c6, bishop g2, bishop g7, knight e2, knight f6, pawn d3, castles, pawn f4, pawn to d6, and bishop to e3, and bishop to g4. So your bishop e3 is actually, I'm not in favor of, because it allows this knight to g4, and once you move the bishop, then I think pawn to f5 is also possible for black to play over here. Okay, so you have to keep in mind that this bishop, whenever this knight g4 is available, avoid directly putting this bishop here unless you have some tactics on the board. Because yeah, knight comes to g4 and this bishop is again harassed. You have to again save this bishop, move it somewhere on g1 or back to d2 or anywhere. Bishop g4 is not the best move here. Knight g4 I think might have been better here. That is what I would have prepared from black side, and this bishop would have been, again you have to save the bishop then. Okay, so bishop g4, castles, pawn to e6, pawn to h3, bishop takes e2, and queen takes e2. So you are lost your light square bishop now from black side. This is what you should avoid. You should try to preserve the bishops, try to use it for attacks, try to create some kind of play, and then if you feel that then the bishop has to be exchanged, go for the exchange. But here I think if I just put few moves back, what plan I would do from white here, from the black side, I would have loved to put my rook on b8, so that first point it is away of this bishop tactics. It won't get it won't get tied up into this bishop tactics. Okay, and after rook b8, I can just try to play b5 and b4, then pawn a5, a4. Try to create some play on the queen side. Try to put some pressure on the queen side. This bishop on g7 is also nicely pointing towards the b2 square. So that's where you have to target. Don't just go for this bishop g4 and try to exchange the knight. That is not going to help you guys. Put the rook on b8, play b5, b4, and try to create some play on the queen side. Okay, let's go ahead. Bishop to e3, bishop to g4, castles. We have pawn e6, pawn h3, bishop takes e2, queen takes e2, and pawn d5. Now this is a nice break. That is the break actually which is always expected from black side in Sicilian, except in few of the openings, few of the variations of Sicilian. Pawn e5, knight to d7. So pawn d5 is actually, I am not sure if bishop takes c5 is available here. Okay, bishop takes c5, we would have yeah, d takes, and I think we could have been fine after bishop takes c5. Okay, meanwhile, I can see a comment from Tushar. Tushar says, thank you, sir. You're always welcome, Tushar, sir. Sometimes when my king is actually totally open, what can I do? If I waste all my moves to hide the king, then opponent can highly damage us. Yes, Tushar. So you have to make sure that your king is safe, and you also have some winning plan. Don't keep your king exposed. Okay, don't go for aggressive pawn push on your castled king. You have to learn the tactics depending upon which opening you play. You have to see a lot of games from grandmasters. Suppose you play French defense, okay, then you have to see at least 100 games of French defense. It will teach you a lot. What not to do is very important in any opening, rather than you know what to do. Poonam Gupta says, okay, sir. Then Poonam Gupta, see, I have analyzed your game. You can just go in the recording and check the game. Sir, what is the difference between inaccuracies and the blunders? So, inaccuracies means that of five available moves, you have chosen a move which is not bad, which is not the best, which is in between. That is an inaccuracy. You have not chosen the best move. And blunder is you have chosen the worst move, which will lead to your loss. That is the difference between inaccuracy and blunders. Future GM says, hi, hello, Future GM. Good to have you online. Good to have all of you online, guys, and watching this live broadcast. We have D5. Then Bishop takes C5 is something that you have to analyze from white side smooth chess if you're looking at this broadcast. E5 was played here and knight went to d7. Now this c5 is supported, and I think this is going to give an upper hand to black, because now black has very nice control of these squares, central squares, and of course this a6 b5 is also available. Queen b6 might be played, and a lot of things that black can do now. If you compare white's position, white's bishops are lined up towards the queen side. Okay, this is the first thing that white has done in this game, but he has pushed his king side pawns for the attack. So what is going to be the plan here? Bishops want to attack queen side and pawns want to attack the king side. So they are not going to help each other. Whenever you are developing, whenever you are putting your pieces on such a squares, make sure that these pieces, these pawns are going to help each other. In this case, it's totally opposite. Bishops and pawns, they are not in sync with each other. They have to be in sync with each other so that they can help each other to at least create some kind of tactics or some kind of play in the middle game. Okay, so this structure I'm not happy with from white side. So smooth chess, I think you should work upon your openings, and this is the system where you're not going to get any attack in the game. Okay, because your pieces are not in sync, they are not helping each other, as I've drawn the arrows on the board and explained. Okay, so Tushar says, sir, you explain everything so simply that it becomes very easy to understand. Yes, Tushar, thank you very much. Probably that's what I that's what I wanted to do in my life, to explain everything very easily. And today I'm getting the opportunity in front of all you beautiful people. So thanks for this opportunity, and I'm happy to do it for you. Bishop takes c5. Yes, it was captured, but now the bishop is free. Knight takes bishop. It's a blunder, guys, and that's how Yogaraj, you must have won the game, and smooth chess, you must have lost. But this is where, yeah, white resigned and black won the game. Okay, so I have given a lot of tips to you, smooth chess. Make sure that you use those tips, and next time when you give your game for analysis, I don't want to see such kind of setups in your game. Please try to improve. I will definitely help you in improving more in the next game. Just make sure that you follow the tips, follow your opening principles, and don't put your pieces in this way which are not going to help you to improve or get any attack in the game. Okay, let's go back to tournament now. Let's check the next ID. Next ID is Prathamesh 0555. He's again our regular player and regular follower. Let's check Prathamesh game. Prathamesh 50555. Okay, he's playing against a 2225 rated player. Let's check. This is going to be an exciting game, guys. Let's check his game. The player is Abhi Ganigar from Karnataka Sunners. He is rated 2225, so he's a very high rated player. And let's check what happened in the game. E4, E5, Knight F3, Knight C6, Bishop B5. So I'm just keeping one move back. And Knight F3, Knight C6, and Bishop B5. This is the Royal Lopez opening, which is played from white side. And there are a lot of replies that black can give here. There are a variety of replies, and there is a huge theory in this. So if you want to play, you have to make sure that you have to learn a lot of theory, and you have to remember all the theory. So it's not an easy opening to play from both the sides, if especially when you are playing in the rating tournaments, FIDE rating tournaments, or any tournament which is of high caliber. Okay, and I have a question from future GM. What is the difference between Leech's rating or FIDE rating? So Leech's rating is a virtual rating. It's a rating that Leeches gives you, and FIDE rating is the most and the topmost respect that you can get in chess. Okay, so FIDE rating is something that you have to actually play the FIDE tournaments physically, and you have to perform well. You have to defeat good rated players, then you will get the rating. If you don't know how to get a rating, I have created videos in Hindi. You can go and check. I have given a complete plan how you can find rating tournaments, how you can plan for rating tournaments, how you can get the rating, and also how you can calculate the rating. Everything is there in those videos. Those are videos are made in Hindi language, so you can go back and check those videos on my channel. It is going to help you a lot, especially if you are appearing for the arbiter exam. That these videos are very helpful to you. Okay, and FIDE is very hard. Yes, that's correct, Ricky Ball. There is one comment from Poonam Gupta, sir. Thank you for analyzing my game. Because of you, sir, I learned from my mistakes. Yes, Poonam Gupta, you're always welcome. Even in future, if you have any questions, any doubts, you can always put in the comment section. I'll try to answer. Vijay Lakshmi Naidu says, yes, sir. Yes, Vijay Lakshmi Naidu. Hello, good to see you online. So this is the Raw Lopez variation. Knight f6 was played. Castles, knight takes e4, pawn to d4, and knight to d6. Now in this case, we have a lot of tactics going on here. Knight is attacking the bishop, pawn is attacking the e5. This pawn can be pushed to e4, and there are a lot of lines which are complicated here. Bishop takes c6, d takes c6, d takes e5, and knight to e5, queen takes d8, king takes d8, and this is all theory, guys. Pawn to h3, pawn to h5, knight to c3, bishop to e6, bishop to f4, bishop e7, and we have knight to e4. Now, this is all about how well you can handle your minor pieces. And bishop to d5 was played, rook to d1, king moves to e8, and now rook to e1 was played. This e4 knight is hanging, so it had to be supported with this rook. Knight to h4, knight takes, bishop takes, and pawn to b3. So this game was ended in a draw, but let's check what happened in the game. Okay, so bishop takes h4, bishop comes back to e7, pawn to c4, bishop takes e4, rook takes e4, bishop c5, pawn to e6, pawn to f6, bishop takes c7, and let us go few moves back here. Okay, so this was played, and I think here instead of moving the bishop, rook could have been played to d8. So if rook takes d8, king takes d8, pawn to e6, pawn to f6, and now bishop cannot capture the c7 pawn as king is supporting the c7 pawn. Okay, so rook d8 can be met by rook takes d8, king takes d8, rook d4 check, king c8, and you are absolutely fine. The point here is you have to find out which of your pieces are hanging. In this case, c7 was hanging, which was indirectly attacked by this bishop, so e6 can be played here. Okay, so you have to be smart here. You have to understand what your opponent is trying to do, which is called as prophylaxis. Prophylaxis, understanding what your opponent is trying to do, what is your opponent's idea, and how you should stop the idea. That is prophylaxis. Prophylaxis is a very important concept, guys, in chess. If you really want to play very good chess, very nice chess, you have to learn this concept of prophylaxis. There are a lot of videos on YouTube. What is prophylaxis? You can Google, you can put in the YouTube search what is prophylaxis in chess, and you will get very nice very nice videos by IMs and GMs. So learn this concept, like prophylaxis, trying to find out the idea. So your idea was to capture this c7 pawn, which is the prophylaxis that I am doing right now from black side. So c7 pawn has to be saved. To support c7 pawn, rook has to play to d8, and rook takes d8, king takes d8, and you have supported this c7 pawn. So in short, you are making sure that everything out there, your pawns and pieces are safe. They are not hanging. If the pieces are hanging, your opponent will be happy. Like in this case, bishop c5 was played, which actually was not necessary here. Bishop c5 was not necessary. It was important to get these two rooks in the game. These two rooks are just sitting ducks right now in the game. They are not doing anything, just lazy, sitting on the couches and having some chips. So they are like lazy rooks. Get them into the game, guys. Play rook d8. Go for castle. Just get another rook into the game. Try to attack this e5 pawn. That should have been the plan here. Bishop c5 is a waste of move, I think, and that's what actually helped white to get rid of this pawn and capture this c7 pawn. Okay, so pawn f6, bishop takes c7, rook to c1, bishop a5, and we have pawn to b6, bishop to c3, and now rook to d8, rook takes, king takes, and pawn to b4, bishop d6, and f4. Okay, I was wondering if we can play rook to d4 here. Rook to d4, I think king e7 is expected, and this pawn is hanging, so f4 is the right move here. Yes, f4 and f5 are just trying to keep both the pawns supported. So f4, and we have king e7, pawn f5. So this is a winning position for white actually. I don't know how this ended in a draw, and even here actually you can just lock up the pawns, this pawns, and then the game can be progressed. So pawn to b5, then we have king to f1, rook to d3, and bishop to b7. So this entry should not have been given here actually. So just let us just check what is happening. So b5 was actually played in the game. So if you don't play b5, what is going to happen here? If I just don't want to give the entry to the king, if I just play king f2 now, if c takes b4, e takes b4, and still this bishop doesn't have any square to go, and then you get sufficient time to bring the king on e2 so that this rook cannot come to d3 or cannot come to d1. So here again you have to do prophylaxis from white side. What is black trying to do? Black is trying to put his rook on d3 or d1, and you have to stop it. To stop it, you can bring your king to f2 and e2 and try to stop it. It's a simple idea. That is how you should think in the game. In the end games, at least, don't give entries to the opponent's rook. Once your rooks are exchanged here, I think it is easier for white to win because you have an extra pawn on e6, which is difficult to handle in this case. Okay, let's see. So b5 was played and bishop g6, and this is what actually helped uh, black to get a draw. So rook was played to d3, bishop to b2, and rook to d2. Uh, bishop again comes to c3 and bishop to d3. And I think this was repeated. And was there a way to win here from white side? Let's just check that. Can white win in this case? Okay. So if um, okay, and this bishop was always hanging out there. Yeah, so there was no way that this bishop could have been saved. Okay, so here bishop e1 was possible. Bishop e1 was possible, and then rook takes a3 is not playable because the bishop is hanging. So bishop takes e1, king takes e1 can be played, then rook takes a3, and then probably you can just try to put the rook on e2, get on d2, and try to come on this seventh rank, and that might help. I think that is plus for white. Bishop e1, I think should have been played here. It was not a losing move for white. White should have tried for a win because he has an extra pawn. Okay, but it's good, Prathamesh, that you were able to secure a draw with Abiganigar. That's very nice, 2200 rated player, and you have drawn with him. That's a good result. So congrats, Prathamesh, for this nice game. Let's go back to the tournament now. Meanwhile, I can see comments from a lot of comments. So Bitopan Sharma. Okay, FIDE is hard. Yes, FIDE rating, get FIDE rating is not easy, guys. I got my FIDE rating long back in 2005 when I played around 4 to 5 tournaments, rated tournaments, and then I was able to get the FIDE rating. And then we have comment from Bitopan Sharma, sir, please analyze my game. Yes, Bitopan, just give. Okay, Bitopan 2020 is your ID. Okay, let's try to get that as well. But there is a huge list bit open today, so I'm not sure how much we can carry out. Then we have Sahil Bhatt saying hello, hello Sahil, hope you are doing well. Future GM says never mistakes DIY with Gaurav says hello, hello Gaurang, hope you are doing well. And Sai Pranav is back. Sai Pranav, hello, hello Sai Pranav, hope you are doing good. Let's go back and check now. The next person were to get smooches we have done. Prathamesh we have done. Abhishek is the next person. Abhishek Shrivastava Yogaraj, we have done your game. Uh, yeah, Abhishek Shrivastava is the next person. So let's check Abhishek's game. Abhishek Shrivastava. So Abhishek Shrivastava is playing against. He lost with Unusual. Let's check his game. Abhishek and Unusual. The game is loading up, guys. So d4 was played here. So d4 was played by Unusual. d4, d5, c4, e6. This is the Queen's Gambit declined. Knight c3, bishop b4, c takes d5, queen takes d5. Queen takes d5. I think here, Abhishek, if you wish to play, you can go for the exchange variation with the e takes instead of queen takes. If you have prepared this line, it's well and good. But try to play e takes d5, which gives you a solid and superb opening from black side. It is not easy to break this pawn structure, which is the Karlsbad pawn structure, which happens after this c takes, e takes, and pawn is played to e3. This pawn comes to c6, and then you get this beautiful pawn structure on queen side, and there's 3 pawns on the king side, with which you have to then attack the king side as much as possible. This bishop has to be on d6, not on b4, to attack the castle king on white's castle king on the king side. You have to attack this h2 pawn with this bishop. So don't put on this b4 and exchanges. This bishop should come back on d6, pawn should go to c6, and this bishop should be able to attack this h2 square. C takes d5, queen takes d5, pawn to a3, bishop takes c3, b takes c3, and we have knight c6 now. Again here, playing knight c6 is not a good idea. You can play knight f6 first, try to get some control here, and then try to play c5. Try to attack this central pawns and then try to play knight c6. But if you play knight c6 now, then you won't be able to attack center by playing c5 and get some pressure on the d4 square. So make sure, guys, you play c5 first and then moves like knight c6. Knight c6 completely blocks your ability to get a break in center now. Now you have to play for the e5 break. Okay, if knight c6 is what you are playing to, if you are planning to play. So queen c2, knight f6, knight f3, knight e4, pawn e3, pawn f5, and this is not going to work from black side because this pawn structure you feel that it is strong, but once this c4 pawn comes, this queen has to move somewhere, and these pawns start falling thereafter. Okay, so we have, sorry, I clicked somewhere. Yeah. So castles, we have castles and knight to a5, pawn to c4, queen to c6. This knight has nowhere to go now. Okay, so this, as I said before, once this pawn c4 comes, it's difficult to survive. Queen to e8, bishop takes e5, e4, f takes e4, queen takes e4, and game is almost lost here for black. It's difficult to survive now because this center versus this center, it's a lot better. This is actually, this reminds me actually some kids who have broken teeth in between, so you can see some gaps. That is what this pawn looks like actually for me. That's what I can imagine looking at this pawn. These are the gaps in the in the teeth of those little kids with the fallen teeth. And meanwhile, white is having a very strong pawn structure, and of course this bishop can now join the attack. Pawn can come to f4, and I think this is already lost for black. So Abhishek, you have to improve your from black side. Don't play this opening. This is not going to help you. You go for Slav defense, you go for queen's gambit decline, you go for a standard opening, and don't put your bishop on b4. That is not going to help you in this opening. Okay, and this some little tactics here. And yeah, I am just fast forwarding the game to reach where the climax, and black white is very well put this bishop now, and white knows actually if this whatever is going to happen, it's going to happen on this king side if black is able to attack. So he has rightly brought the bishop here and put it on the on the f4 so that this rook is not able to attack the f2 square. So white now has made sure that his defenses are strong, and then he can go for this pawn roll on the in the center. So we have bishop to g5, we have queen to d6, and then we have bishop takes f6, rook takes f6, pawn to e7, and this is unstoppable. This is how the checkmate happened in the game. So Abhishek, the first thing, let me go back to the position there in the opening. Avoid bishop b4 line if possible. For if you have prepared it, prepare it very well. Or you go for the knight f6 variation, knight f6, bishop e7, castles, knight d7, pawn c6, and this is actually a stable and simple variation to play as compared to this adventure of bishop b4. Okay, so let's go back to the tournament and let's try to pick up the next game. Abhishek, we are done. And then we have Low Fort. Low Fort has requested us. Lowford is playing from the Great Chess Club. So Lowford, I request to you, ask more people to join. Just joining with 4 players is not going to help. Probably we might not be able to add you in the next tournament if the players are less from your side. Let's check your game against uh, Terminator number one, who is 2138. I'm purposely getting the high rated players against you guys. The reason is that you understand how to play against these high rated players so that next time you can play in a better way as compared to what you have played here. C4, C5, English opening, knight C3, knight C6, pawn E3, pawn G6, pawn D4, bishop to G7. So now this position has got converted into the uh, modern Benoni. Okay, in modern Benoni, of course, the knight F6 still has to be there, or it can still, if the pawn comes to e4, then it can be still called as a dragon as well if the pawn is on c5 and you've done the fianchetto. So let's see what happened in the game. Meanwhile, I can see okay, Sahil, what is saying, sir? In this present tournament, I played 2 games. In both games, I was completely winning, but unfortunately, I lost both the matches by making blunders. So, sir, how can I reduce making blunders? So, Sahil, but the question is, were your blunders made in time pressure? If yes, then you have to think differently in time pressure. Okay, you cannot think normal in time pressure. In time pressure, you have to first find the safe moves and you have to avoid blunders. Okay, so that comes with the practice. In time pressure, first try to find safe moves. That is the thing you have to learn while playing in time pressure. If the blunders were not made in time pressure, then you have to make sure that what is it that you did not think before making the move. It can be you have overlooked your opponent's tactics, which is called as prophylaxis. You have to find your opponent's idea. If you are not doing prophylaxis, then you are going to suffer, you are going to make blunders, you are going to overlook what your opponent is trying to do. So learn prophylaxis, try to find your opponent's idea, and then try to make your moves. Don't just make your moves randomly. That is definitely going to reduce the blunders in your game. Subhash says, hi bro, hi Subhash, good to see you online after many days. Fatima says, I lose all my games. What I can do? Learn lessons, play games. Fatima, first of all, you have to learn the openings. As I think I have given you. No, you said don't analyze my game, so I have not analyzed your game. But you have to learn openings as well as you have to solve a lot of puzzles. You have to get your end games. Um, End games corrected. Okay, a lot of players have learned wrong end games. You should not learn the wrong end games. You still have to work upon your end game skills and give good time to your study, guys. You just don't keep playing. You have to analyze your game. You have to study opening, middle game, and end games. Everything you have to study. Okay, so that's for you, Fatima. Then Anu says, hi Anu. Hi bro, you analyze the games very well. Thank you, Anu. Thank you very much. Then again, Future says, I play so many openings. Okay, Bitopen says, sir, please analyze me. Yes, please, the Bitopen. Glitch, sir, what's your FIDE rating? So, Glitch, if you're listening, my FIDE rating is 2048. You can just Google out Amel Saman FIDE rating. That's my name. And you will get my profile in FIDE. So, my standard rating is 2048 and my Blitz rating is 2035. I don't have rapid rating as of now, but I plan to get it in future. Okay, so let's see what happens when I can get that rating. So bishop g7 was played, knight f3, and then knight to f6, pawn to d5, pawn knight goes back to c6. So this is what happens, guys. This opening is the modern Benoni, wherein knight c6 is not played. Okay, black has played modern Benoni. You can Google out modern Benoni. You can understand what that opening is. A knight f6 and c5 is played against d4 and c4. That is modern Benoni. And in that case, knight is not played to c6. Knight can go to d7 in that case, or even a6 in that case. So knight c6 is a wrong move in this setup. So low fort, if you are listening to this commentary, make sure that you choose a good opening when you are trying to play against any opponent or any side. Here you have chosen the right opening, but you have placed your knight on the wrong square on c6. And what has it costed you? It has costed you two moves. First of all, you played knight c6 and it came back. So there are two moves which you made on the board and which are not useful to you. It means that your opponent has progressed and gone ahead two moves of you. He is better than you at least twice, not twice, but by two moves. Okay, so don't waste your moves. If you want to play Benoni, which is knight f6 and c5, make sure you don't play knight c6 because this d5 is going to come some other day on that in that opening. Okay, in that case, d6 and e6 are played for breaks, and there are some cases where nh5, f5 is also playable. There are a lot of ideas. a6, b5 can be playable. You can also play Benko gambit here. You can play b5, c takes b5, a6, b takes a6, and then you can play bishop takes a6. You can exchange this bishop on f1, and then you can get two open files here to attack on this a2 and b2 pawns. Okay, and let's see what happened. So bishop d3, castles, and queen c7. Again, this is not the right move because this you're inviting this knight to b5. Again, you will have to move the queen, and where will the queen go? Queen has no squares to go. So instead of queen c7, I feel you should have played d6 here. You should have played a6 here. You should have tried to create b5 or some kind of attack here, or at least play d6 bishop to g4, bishop takes f3, queen takes f3, and then try to play knight d7, knight e5, and try to attack this all this f3, d3, and c4 squares with the knight. That should have been your simple plan. So we have queen c7 here. I can see a comment from Bitopan. मैंने 1900 को हराया मैं 1400 को. Oh, that's nice, Bitopan Sharma. Good win against 1900. I can see some players complaining about you, but just make sure that whatever you do, you are truthful to yourself. Don't take any help, and then you can go you can achieve great heights in chess if you're truthful to you. Don't take any help while playing the games, guys, online or anywhere. Okay, just make sure you play pure chess without any I can say adulteration, you can say, or you can say mixing or any help from anyone. Okay, just try to play pure chess, guys. That's a request from my side. Don't spoil the game. It's a beautiful game. So just a request to all: don't use any engines or don't use any help to when you play the game. Okay, so Bituman, I'll like check your game after some time when I reach the list. Okay, so right now this is the position, and we have queen c7, which is not the right move. Pawn e4, pawn e6, pawn to e5, and this is what happens now. You are going to end up in a very cramped position. Look at this: bishop, knight, queen. Everything is cramped up, and white is having excellent space here. This is because you wasted two moves with knight c6 and knight to b8. Pawn d6 should have been played, which was not played. So that is all improvements for your low fort. Select, if you like this opening, select and play modern Benoni. You can Google out what is modern Benoni. There are a lot and lots of videos on YouTube. Low fort, you can Google out and learn from modern Benoni. So knight b5, and now this is actually lost game. It's completely lost. So I'm just not I'm just quickly fast forwarding, but this is all, the game is lost, guys. Okay, so let's go back to the tournament and pick up the next game. So Lowford, a lot of tips for you. Just make sure you follow them. You can chess the best, sir. Please analyze my game with Robin 1768. So Robin, you are at in the huge list right now. Around 20 or 21 requests I have got till now. I'm just trying to go through all of the games. I hope we get sufficient time to cover all your games. If not, and I'm really sorry if all of the games we are not able to get, then we have next request from Chess M Chess P Mayor. Chess P Mayor. Chess Player Deep. Okay, Chess Player Deep. Let's check your game. Chess Player Deep is has lost against. Let's check. Yeah, he has lost against Unusual. Unusual, we have already seen your game. So let's check some other game. Sai Prasad has requested us. So Sai Prasad, let's check your game with Chess Deep. Okay, so E4 was played by chess player Deep, and Sai Prasad is playing from black side. So E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6, bishop C4, bishop C5, pawn D3. This is the Italian game. Pawn H6, knight C3, and here chess player Deep 2005. I think you can try pawn C3 here. Okay, or go for the castle. Don't try to play the symmetrical opening by playing knight c3. It will diminish your chances of getting good attack in the center. You should try to play pawn c3 and then try to play pawn d4 if possible in the game. This knight can go to d2, it can come to f1. Okay, just before I confuse you, let me tell you the sequence of the moves. Here you can go for castle. If pawn d6, then you can play pawn h3 so that this bishop doesn't come to g4 and annoy with this pin. So castles. Then if pawn d6, you can go for pawn h3. That's fine. Then you can go for pawn c3. This rook will come to e1. The knight will go to d2. It will go to f1. It will go to h3, g3, and from here it will try to go to f5 or h5, or it can this knight can go to h4 and come to the f5, and you have to try to create some tactics on the king side here using your knight from b1 to d2 to f1 to g3 and try to attack on the castle king here. This is the route that this knight should follow, and this is something that you have to learn, guys. This technique is very important. You have to learn this, and pawn c3 is also actually recommended here. It can also help you to play pawn b4, b5 and try to get this knight takes e5 if this knight is moved somewhere. Okay, so c3 can be played or castles can be played here. We have knight c3, which is a symmetrical opening, which will actually kill, not kill, but it will actually give very less chances to you. And you have lost a pawn here because bishop takes c4, d takes c4, and knight takes e4 is available after knight to e2. So that's what has happened actually. This is not the way you should play. Okay, so I'll stop here. So chess player deep, you have to learn a lot of openings. If you are learning at any coach, please ask him to teach you some openings. At least I think you might be young, probably around 13 or 14 years. If you don't know how to learn openings, you can always reach out to me. You can reach out to your friends. You can reach out to your seniors and try to learn openings. But you have to learn a lot of openings here. This is not the way you should play chess player 91, chess player 2005. Sai Prasad, you have played perfectly, no issues. Let's go back to the tournament now and try to find the next game. Sai Prasad is the next. Sai Prasad will come back to you because we just saw one of your games. We have the Crazy Knight who has requested us. So let's check Crazy Knight's game. Crazy Knight is online. Yes, let's check who has he lost with. He has lost with a couple of players. Terminator number one. He has lost with both of them actually. So let's check this game. It's a very funny ID from Black Side. I don't want to say this out loud, but yeah, it's a funny ID. D4 was played D4, D5, bishop F4, and we have knight F6, pawn E3, pawn C5, and pawn C3. So this is the London system that White is trying to play here by putting the bishop on F4. This is also one of the solid openings that you can see from White side. Let's see what happened. Knight c6, knight d7, knight d2, pawn e6, knight f3, bishop d6, bishop to g3, queen to e7, knight to e5, and bishop takes e5, d takes e5, and knight to e7, knight f3. Now I think black is going to get a very good advantage here on the queen side. These pawns are going to be rolling very fast, creating some kind of play on the queen side, and at the same time, white is going to take some time actually. Bishop has to come to d3, go to c2, and attack this h7 pawn. But the problem is that this queen has no space which to go on the king side and attack this castle king. So let's see what happened in opening. It's going to be interesting to see what white is planning here. Bishop d3 was played, pawn f6, e takes f6, knight takes f6, and bishop to h4. This is again one of the nice ideas which we learn in the French defense. If you want to break your opponent's pawn or pawn chain, suppose there was a pawn on d4, so f6 is one of the best ways to break it. E takes f6, knight takes f6, your e6 pawn becomes a backward pawn, but it is a responsibility of this bishop which has to come on d7 and keep this e6 pawn defended for as long as possible in the game. At the same time, you get this open f file which you can use to attack from black side. Okay, after you play f6. So let's see how black has used it. E takes f6, knight takes f6, and bishop to h4. Pawn to e5. This again is a very nice move. Look at this threat. Pawn coming to e4, forking both the pieces. So bishop has to run away somewhere. Knight has to run away somewhere. And this bishop meanwhile gets a long, long diagonal for it to breathe as much as he wants. So bishop to c2, pawn to e4, knight to d2, knight to e5, and then we have bishop to g3, pawn to c4. That creates a superb square of d3 which white can not capture back. Okay, so bishop takes e5, queen takes e5, and now rook to b1. I think pawn b3 is now intended. So knight g4, pawn to f3, knight takes e3, and I think this is game over for white now. Yeah, white is just struggling here. Let's check what happened in the game quickly. I'm just quickly fast forwarding, guys. The reason is that I think this is weak position for white, and white should succumb to this very quickly. So yeah, so this was the position. The threat was that rook takes f3. If rook takes f3, then we have queen takes e7, and then rook takes rook can be answered by queen takes rook. So that was a tactic here of playing. So king to e2, and now queen to g2 check, king moves, and rook check, rook in between, rook takes, queen takes, and rook f1, and I think that's the game. So that's the game for you, Crazy Knight and Mr. Black. The point here was, let me just quickly go back to the position. Yeah, let's check the turning point of the game. Knight e5 is not the right move here. Knight e5 is actually creating a double pawn on e file, and later on black was able to capitalize on that e4 pawn which is in the center and which is the weakness in your camp. So make sure that you don't create the double pawns in this way. Just keep back. Probably you can go for bishop d3 now, which is a simple move which will keep attacking black's king side. So bishop d3 I think was better here rather than putting the knight on e5. Don't create a weakness like this in your position. That is where you started losing, Mr. Crazy Knight. That's the only turning point in the game. Rest all the game was fine for you. Let's go back to tournament now. And how much time is remaining? We have to run through few games. We have 10 minutes remaining now, and okay, who all have commented? DIY Gaurang says, thanks, sir, for teaching us so nicely. Thanks, Gaurav. Thanks to you as well. It's my pleasure. Sir, you from which state? Sir, Glitch Chess. I am from Mumbai, and I am from one of the suburbs of Mumbai. So that's where I'm from. So state is Maharashtra. Chess the best. Please analyze my game with Robin. Yeah, I have written down. Let's see. Hemang, we have already analyzed your game. And sir, you're only my coach. So Gaurang, yeah, thanks for that. It's an honor for me to be a coach online and teach you all guys. Let's check next game. Next ID was from Hemang Satrank. Satrank had asked us. Satrank, let's check your game. Yeah, Satrank is CM. That's nice. And Satrank has played with. Let's check. He has lost to Gaurav Law. Let's check your game, Satrank, with Gaurav Law. What happened in the game? Okay, so Gaurav was black and Satrank was white. Satrank is from Turkey. That's nice, Satrank. Good to have you in our team playing for us. E4, C5, knight F3, D6, and bishop B5. This is a Rasolimo variation of the Sicilian defense. Knight D7, castles. We have pawn A6, bishop to D3. I personally don't like this move, Satrank, but if you are prepared, that's nice. Pawn E5, pawn C3, knight F6, bishop to c2, bishop e7, and rook to e1, castles, pawn d4, queen c7, and then we have knight to d2. So now if we consider how many moves we have invested with our bishop, bishop went to b5 first, it came to d3, it came to c2. So three moves we have invested in the bishop, and let's see if we had to pay, if white had to pay price for that. Okay, pawn to b5, knight to f1, c takes, and e takes. Oh, that's an exchange, excellent exchange from black side, because now black has his backward pawn, but he has beautiful outpost of e5 and c5 where this knight can sit and create a good pressure on this e4 square, or at least this c4 square from e5 and e4 square from c5. That's his choice. And knight e5, we have knight to e3, bishop to b7, knight to f5, and this is an outpost, guys, now for this white's knight, because once the bishop comes to the b7, it leaves this diagonal open for the knights to pounce upon, and that's what has happened in the game. Knight f5, and but this, yeah, e4 is now supported with the rook as well as this bishop, so nothing to worry about. But this rook c8 is going to be annoying for this bishop, because this bishop has to come to b1 and try defending this e4 pawn. So rook c8, knight takes e7 check, queen takes e7, and we have knight to f5 again, knight queen to c7, and bishop to b3 now. e4 is left away hanging. So I think, okay, knight c4 was played first. So if knight takes e4, is there any tactic coming on? No, d6 is hanging. So knight takes d6 or queen takes d6 is also available. So I think knight takes e4 might have been playable here. We still need to analyze in deep this position, but yeah, that was possible. So knight to c4 was played, and bishop takes c4, b takes c4, queen takes d6, knight to e4, knight e7 check, and I think that was actually, this was actually a nice position. Knight takes, okay, so this was missed actually by white, this tactic, that this knight was actually hanging here. The knight was on e4 attacking the queen, so this was missed from white side. So knight, king h8, knight d6, knight to d6, and knight e7, and I think this is where white started losing. But just going back to this position, guys, this was the position. Queen d6 for knight e4 was played. Here queen takes c7 could have been played. That was an easy one to play. Queen takes c7, and then I think white would have had a good game after that. Yeah, queen takes c7, rook takes c7, and probably, or just bringing back queen to d4 could have been also not a bad move. Then this knight is attacked twice, and then you also have this f3 kind of move, which if knight goes back, then we have this knight e7 check, and attacking the king and queen. But anyhow, this was missed by white, and this is the blunder from white side, wherein the queen was gone free. I know white must be knowing that this is a bad blunder, it should not have been done, but that's how that has happened, and white has lost the game. Okay, let's go back to tournament now and check the next game. So set rank, we are done. Bit open, you had requested next, so let's check. Bit open has 2020, and you lost with you won against both the players. So let's check what happened in the game. Okay, okay, there are some okay, so game is already analyzed. So e4, e6, knight f3, pawn to d5. E5 was played here by Bitopan. Then we have pawn c5, pawn d4, knight c6, and let me just, okay, knight c3, pawn takes, and knight takes e5. This e5 was given away. Bishop to b5 check, bishop d7. So they're just keeping few moves back, guys. This is converted into the French defense, wherein the d4 is delayed. Your pawn c3 is best move to create this pawn chain against the French defense. And I think this is the advanced variation of French defense, wherein e4 e6, e4 e6, d4, d5, and then e5 is played. C5, pawn c3, knight c6, and knight f3. That is the position we can reach after if white plays c3 now. So knight c3 was played, pawn takes, knight to d4, knight takes e5, bishop b5 check, bishop d7, bishop takes, knight takes d7, and queen to e2. Now the threat is knight takes d5 can be played, and that is a threat. So let's see. Knight f6 was played, bishop g5, bishop e7, pawn to f4, and castles we have pawn to h4, queen to b6. So that is a very aggressive game from white side actually. Pawn h4 and f4, that is not generally seen very much, but castles, and rook to c8, rook to d3, knight to c5, attacking this rook now, as well as putting the pressure on this e4 and b3 squares. B3 is not actually under pressure, but a4 is something that this knight can plan to go in future. This right now, this knight is capturing, controlling the a4 square, so it can't go right away. Then we have rook to g3, knight to e4, knight takes e4, knight takes e4, and rook to d3. Bishop takes g5, h takes g5. I think this is where the difference happened, that white got an open file here, which helped him to deliver some mating attacks on the king side. And rook to c4, we have queen to h5. That's actually a blunder from black side. You are just giving away. I think, yeah. So black has captured the piece here. Okay, so this was the position. Black went for the d4 knight, and white went for this checkmate on h7, which was not the checkmate, but this h8 and queen takes e8 can be done. So rook queen h5 was played, rook takes d4, and suddenly white is plus here after rook takes d4, because queen can now capture this e8 rook as well. So queen h7, king f8, queen pawn to g6. Pawn to g6 is again something that is strange here, because I think now rook can be saved, or yeah, I think now rook can be saved. Rook can just come to this d8 square, or you can probably try to exchange as well if you just want to give away the rook and try to create some chances here. So let's see what happened. Rook takes d3 was played, queen check, king moves, and queen takes 8, and now queen e3 check, king moves, and so here knight c3 is suggested. So I'm not sure why this is all analyzed and it's all already showing all the games here. There is a option of learn from mistake. This is a chess insights which I'm going to prepare a video soon, and you can learn. So knight c3 can be played here, but rook d2 was played, queen takes b7, and king moves, queen takes, and now I think, yeah, queen takes f4. This is a nice keyword, guys. Look at this keyword, guys. So king d6 and queen f4. You should not miss this skewer, guys. Skewer is something that when the king is in between, there's another piece which is hanging somewhere behind the king. Like in this case, queen is hanging on the f4. King was on d6 and queen b8 check will allow you to capture this queen for free. This is a very nice skewer from white. A nice example which actually led white to win. And this again, the f8 square, f8 queens is not stoppable. Easy win for bit open. Not easy win, but good chances after h takes g5 was played and you got an open file. This d4 was should not have been captured from black side. I feel so. Okay, so let's go back to the tournament and like to check the next game. Next game, I think it's just 1 minute 30 seconds, but we'll pick up the game from Robin. He had requested us. So Robin, this is for you. Robin, Robin. Okay, your rating was 1700 something. No, Robin, we are not able to get your ID. Robin, you're pinged in the chat section. I'm just trying to find if I can get your ID back. The one I have written, it's not giving away any live games from your side. So you have to play this tournament, Robin, in order to get your game analyzed. I cannot see you playing. So let's, Robin, we are not able to do your game. Then there are few requests in the chat section. Let's check what happened here. Hemang, we have done. Jagrut, uh, okay. Okay, waiting bad for okay. Okay, just guys, one more request. Don't put that someone is cheating. Okay, please, just don't put in that way. Uh, I'm just asking everyone, don't abuse or accuse anyone. This is not the right way to play. Actually, if you have any problems, if you feel that player is cheating or someone your opponent has cheated, you can report to leeches directly. Don't insult someone or don't hurt anyone or don't abuse or accuse anyone in the chat section, guys. Okay, don't, please, that's a sincere request from my side, guys. Okay, so now we have checked almost all the games. Let me check if there is anything more in the chat section. Robin, just the best. Okay. Okay, sir, please, Bitopan Sharma. Yeah, I think, guys, just give me a shout out if I have missed your game. Bitopan says, thank you, sir. Bitopan, you're always welcome. You played a very nice game after H4. We really loved it, and it's a nice example for all the players how to create attacking chances in your game. So, thanks for your game. And Castle King, Chess the Best says, Castle King, yes. Okay, there's one more question from Chess the Best. Is it a good idea not to castle but move your pawn and attack the king. Yeah, it can be good idea. There are a lot of variations in which you can first push the pawns, and then later on in the game you can castle, as well as what Bitopen did right now in the last game. If you just go back and check, it's absolutely fine sometimes if you want to push the pawns. So yeah, that's a doubt chess the best. You can push your pawns, but also make sure that your king is not exposed. Okay, like we saw in one of the e4 e5 games in this recording. It's in, I think it's second or third game. You can go back in that. Also, white tried to push all the pawns, tried to create the attack, but he did not create any good defense on his king, so his king was exposed, and after some time he had to pay the price. So that's the final ranking for today's 96th Khelo Chess India team battle, guys. Pawns Hurricane have won today with 177 points. That's a nice score from Pawns Hurricane. Then we have Prayagraj Future GMs on second place with 147 points. Karnataka Stunners on 145. Gujarat Lions on 142, a close call for the third position and the second position as well, just a difference of 4 to 5 points. So anyone could have been on second position. So even BCC is on 142, even they could have been on second position. Chennai Chess Club on 121, the Best Chess Lovers on 116, the Chess Blasters on 66, and Khelo Chess India on 65. Guys, come on, next time you have to play better. Okay, Great Chess Club, we have Samuel leading from Great Chess Club. So Great Chess Club, just make sure you have more players. There are more teams which I would like to give chances to because they have more players, guys. So always try to get more players, get your friends into your teams, and make sure that your team is strong. Something that you should be proud about your team. Like in my team, I'm proud about my Kheloches India, even though they are not on top, but they are getting a lot of exposure from this online tournaments. We also have multi-nation tournament on every Sunday, and Kheloches India has the wildcard entry there always. That we always get you on the best platforms if you're part of our team. So keep playing, guys. I hope this today's video is going to be helpful to you, all the chess players out there. And before you close the window, guys, please make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. Also click the bell notification so that whenever we come on online or whenever I put the video, you get a notification. Also share with your friends as much as possible. I want to see that this is going to help a lot of people in their game, so please share with your friends as much as possible. Okay, then I have a comment from Pratham Sharasabude. I came 20 minutes late, sir. That's fine, Pratham. It's okay. Tomorrow you can try. I can't find you, sir. Can you write your name? Okay, my name. I'll just give you my profile itself. I'll just show you my profile on the screen. So you can just type Amir Savan Fide rating. So this is for you, Glitches. I'm not sure what's your name, but I'm just calling you Glitches. If you can give your name, I can call you by that name. Here you can see my profile. This is my profile, FIDE profile, for all the players who wonder what is the source rating. And this is the rating that this is a FIDE profile. This is not something. This is not the page that I have created. This is FIDE's page, which is genuine. And you can see my name here. This is my FIDE ID. This is my name. This is my standard rating 2048, and this is my Blitz rating 2032. And online rating, if you want to get, you have to play. I think Play Chess is the website which is linked with this FIDE. If you play chess, then you can probably or there's a, I think, arena or something which FIDE has created. You can go and get the rating there. And that's my rank: world rank, national rank, and continent Asia rank Asia. That's for all of you guys out there who is wondering what is my rating. So this is my rating and this is my profile. This is my name, Amel Sawan. Just next time you can put, if someone asks in the chat, you can give them my name and the profile if I miss the comment. Okay, so that's all, guys. I think we are done for today. No more questions in the comment section, guys, and I think we are good to close today. I hope you liked today's video, the live broadcast. I have tried my level best to explain all the games and also the openings and what you shouldn't do sometimes. That is what I have explained today in few games. So please go through the recording, and all coaches will most of the times tell you what you should do, but what you shouldn't do is something that very less players will tell you. So do watch the recording. And that's all, I think. Okay, so I checked Maharashtra AICF. There is no one with rating 2048. That's why. Oh, okay. You can check this one if we play that. Okay, sir, how was my game with Arson Chess? So Dapate Madan. What is your ID, Dapate Madan? If you give me your ID, I can just tell you how your game was if I am able to remember that. And because a lot of ideas, Dapate, I'm not sure uh, what I could. I'm not sure. There are around 25 IDs that I have written, and I'm not able to recollect which one is yours. So just help me out. What I should improve bit upon, I have already told you in your game. Okay, in your game you are trying to play aggressive, so that's nice, but try to pick the stable openings. H4 you played, I think that could have been punished from black side if black would have been on the right track. So play a stable opening bit open, and I think that is what is going to help you. So that's for you, bit open. Choose a stable opening. Then we have Gaurang. I like it very much. Yes, Gaurang, that's nice. Chess the best says how you draw arrows and how was my game. So chess the best, you can for drawing arrows you can use a right click on the mouse and drag on the chessboard anywhere in chess. It will draw arrows for you. And how was your game? It was good. I think I had some improvements for you, but I don't remember which game it was because almost 7 to 8 games we have seen today. So sorry for that. I am not able to recollect which game it was, but I have given the comments to you. You can go back and check the recording. Just the best. So I think that's all, guys, for today. And Prathamesh, okay, Prathamesh, your game was good. Prathamesh, your game was good, and I sorry, I don't remember exact move order in your game, Prathamesh, but yeah, it was good. I have given comments to you as well. You can just go back and check the recording, Prathamesh. You were, I think, second or third in the list, so your game will be very much in top 15 to 20 minutes. You can check that. Jitendra Singh is saying how to know opponent is playing with the engine. That's a nice question, guys. So here comes the concept of centipon loss, okay, or you can say the difference of. Let's try to figure out. Okay, I'll try to just show you an example. Let's check who came first. Terminator number one came first, and let's try to pick up this game, Girish. Okay, this is for you, Jitendra Singh. I'm trying to get something on the screen which might help us. And if I go here, just a minute. Yeah. So whenever you want to analyze, guys, you can just go to your game. You have to click on these three options, and you have to click on study. Once you click on study, it will open this screen in study mode, and here you can click on this computer analysis. Okay. Hold on. I'm just trying to find out. Okay. So it actually just I'll come back to your question, Jitendra. It's a long process. You can check my video. I have created a video how to analyze your game. So here, what you have to do is you have to uh, make sure that after you request a computer analysis here, there is a column centipon loss. Okay, that centipon loss should not be around zero. Okay, if that is, yeah, you can see your average centipon loss. The more closer it is to zero, okay, it means that the player might be using engine. You have to look for this field, centipon loss, guys. Okay, if you're using this analysis part, then check this value, centipon loss. It should not be near to zero. If it is not near to zero, it means if it is near to zero, it means the player might be using engines. Okay, this is the way you can check how if your opponent is cheating or if your opponent is using the engines. Okay, I think that's it. That's your question. That's your answer for your Jitendra. That's the answer for your questions. Yeah, check here. Now, average centipon loss is 21 or 19. This is good. It means that player is not cheating. Girish also 43. The more the number of centipon, it means that the player is not cheating. If the centipon loss is less, 0, 1, 5, 3, it means that the player might be using the engines. So you have to go here and check this columns here, check these values. You have to go again. I'll show you how you can go here. I'll just go back to tournament. For the players who have missed this, just pay attention right now. I am going to. So this is your game, guys. Okay, this is the game. For example, this is your game. Okay. And then you have to go here on these three options, which is okay. The options might be not be visible to you. I'll just zoom out a little bit. uh, okay, let me just do one thing. Let me just take it out. Yeah, I think now it is visible to you. Let me just try to resize the window. So what we are discussing is how to find if your opponent is cheating and how your opponent your opponent is using the engines. So I'm just keeping this window here, guys. I think it is visible to you. You have to go to your games, and this is the option which I'm telling about. There are three options here. You have to click this, and then you have to click on study. Once you click on study, okay, sorry, I think I messed up somewhere. This is the game. Yeah, create a study. Yeah, so this is the game, and then okay, I think this we have screwed up. We went into a wrong window, but you can check my video, guys, and there you have to check which what is the centipon loss. Centipon loss gives you a clearer idea if the player is cheating, guys. Okay, so that's for your wild frog. Okay, Jitendra is wild frog. Hi Jitendra, good to know that your ID is wild frog. You have been playing our tournaments from long back, and it's good to see you live on this podcast. So make sure, Jitendra, you analyze your game and you find the centipon loss. Centipon loss is the answer for you if your opponent was cheating. So I think that's all from the live commentary section. I think it's almost 11:45, and still there are a lot of things I have to do, take care of. So I think that's all, guys. Good night for today. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comment section. Even after the live broadcast is over, I'll just try to get the answers for you. No matter how late it is, I'll try to reply your answers. But just put your comments in the questions in the comment section. And that's it for today, guys. I make sure you hit the like button before you close the YouTube window, and make sure you also subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. Also share with your friends so that we get the maximum family of Khelo Chess India, maximum growth of the Khelo Chess India. And what Tapate is saying, sir, what would you suggest me for my games? My included attacking the unsupported bishop on the third file, and my opponent had to move it again and again, which led to the draw. Right. So I have given you the bishop e1 was the option. I remembered your position, Dhapate Madan. Bishop e1 was the option for you. You could have played bishop e1 and tried to save your bishop. Your rook from e5 was supporting the bishop on e1, and king on f1 was also supporting the bishop on e1. So that could have been a winning position for you, Dhapate. Of course, your a3 pawn was hanging, but that's fine. I think you could have still won the game. So best chess says it is 10. Yes. So best chess the best it is 10. 10 what exactly? I'm not sure. You are saying the time, but it's 11:45 here in Mumbai. Jitendra says okay. Gaurang says bye bye. Good night. Yes. Bye bye everyone. Good night. That's a final bye for me. At least I think I've seen bye three times, but I haven't closed the live broadcast because of your questions, guys. I'm always happy to see all the questions and answer you as early as possible. So that's it, guys. Bye bye. Good night. Take care. This is the final goodbye. And for today, of course, we'll meet again tomorrow. And at 9:30 p.m. IST, just make sure that you are there as well, watching the live stream and with your questions ready for you. Chalo. Bye bye. Good night.